Transfer case oil change on 2013 Nissan Rogue. Hey guys, welcome to the bar channel where I'm either building it, assembling it, repairing it, or just replacing it. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you're a subscriber, welcome back to the channel. What I'm going to be working on today is a transfer case oil change on this 2013 Nissan Rogue. So let's get this video started. You need to have your vehicle elevated and level so you have enough room to work. So you want to have it up on a ramp, and in my case I have some jack stands in the back, and I have jacks on standby as an emergency in case something goes wrong. Now we want to locate our fill hole of the transfer case. Once we locate our fill hole, we will locate our drain hole and the drain plug. So once we locate the drain plug, we will go ahead and first remove the plug from the fill hole. One of the reasons to remove the plug from the fill hole first is to facilitate draining of the oil. The oil comes out with ease once that fill plug is removed. The second reason is you want to make sure that you're able to refill the oil after you drain it. If you drain this oil and you cannot remove that fill plug, you're going to be screwed basically. There's no way you can probably move this vehicle or do anything until you get that problem remediated. So you want to go ahead and make sure you're able to remove the fill plug. Now where this fill plug is located is on the passenger side, right above or next to the exhaust pipe. So you want to make sure you have adequate tools and extension to access the area to remove that plug. Keep in mind these parts were not disassembled since manufactured, and they probably put some Loctite on there, I'm not sure. So it will take a little bit of extra strength to remove it. Also, it may have collected dust, dirt, debris throughout its time period, so it will be a little bit tighter. Once you remove it, you want to be careful and put it in a secure spot so you have it for later use. Now that I've got that removed, let's move you down to the drain plug and remove that drain plug. Now you want to make sure that you're removing the correct plug. You want to remove the small plug, not the large one. The large one is probably doing something else. So with your correct hex tip, you want to make sure that you're removing the small plug. Again, these plugs will be a little bit tighter than normal, so you want to make sure that you have enough elbow room. That way, if you slip, you don't hit your elbow on something on the vehicle or under the vehicle. Make sure you get your bit in all the way, that way you don't damage the hole. Once you get that plug unscrewed, you want to get your drain pan situated. In my case, it was windy that day, so I end up pushing the drain pan up a little bit higher to get most of the oil and then lower it down. This transfer case does not take a lot of oil, and if you notice the condition or the color of the oil that's coming out, you'll see that it's extremely dark, and you'll see the color of the oil that I'm putting back in. Now once you're satisfied that the oil is fully drained, you want to make sure you clean the area off with any excess oil, and you want to go ahead and reattach your drain plug. Start putting your drain plug by hand. Do not use the tool, because when you try to use the tool, you can and will likely cross thread the plug itself, and if that happens and you damage that thread, you'll be hosed, you'll be screwed basically. So you want to start putting this plug in by hand first, like I'm doing right now, not like I did before. Screw it in all the way by hand, and then you can go ahead and use the tool. Once it's in place, now you want to get your torque wrench and make sure that you torque this plug back down to specs. For this particular vehicle is 25 foot-pound of torque. So you want to get your torque wrench and torque it down to spec. Now when you hear that click or that pop on the torque wrench, do not go any extra. Just the pop and that's it, and it does not take a lot to reach that torque spec or that turn. So pay attention and listen for it. Now that that's torqued down, let's move on to the fill hole. Now that I've got you situated on the fill hole, I'm going to show you what I'm using to get the oil back in. I purchased this $20 pump off of Amazon. It's an oil extraction pump, but I'm going to use it as a fill pump because I'm going to extract it from the bottle and fill it into the transfer case. So I'm using it as a fill pump, but essentially it does the same job. So this is the pump I'm going to be using. Now I'm going to get my pump set up and I'm going to get my fill hose in place. Once I get the fill hose in place, I'm going to get this pump turned on and I'm going to start pumping it in the transfer case. Now while this oil is filling, I'll tell you a little bit on this pump. This pump is a 12-volt DC pump. It works right off of the car battery and you don't have to do anything extra. It's got two alligator clips or two battery clips. You clip it onto the battery and it's got an on-off switch so you can control the flow. It's not a fast flowing pump, but it's enough to take the pressure off your hand of manually pumping the oil in. So you're able to control the amount of fluid that's going in by the flip of a switch. If you want, you can also rig this pump up to connect to say the cigarette lighter of your vehicle. That way you're able to have it access closely versus from the car battery. In my case, what I have set up is a lawnmower battery that's right next to the pump that I have it clipped onto. So that way it's right there, the pump is right by the hand control, and I'm able to flip the switch on and off. So overall, this pump is a great pump for doing many things. Now as you're running this pump, you just want to keep an eye on the oil that's going in and the fill hole, because when the oil starts to overflow from that fill hole, you know it's full. That's one of the reasons you want to have this vehicle on a level surface to ensure that you're getting the right amount of oil into this transfer case. If it's not on a level surface, you can either underfill or overfill. So a level surface is the best scenario for changing this oil. When you look at this oil, you can see the difference in the color of the oil that's going in versus what was coming out in the drain when I drained it out. And that's why you need to make sure you keep up with your oil change. The oil change is very important because it protects and takes care of the gear themselves. Over a period of time from usage, oil loses their viscosity, which puts extra strain on the moving parts. So you want to make sure that you really don't neglect something like a transmission oil change, a transaxle oil change, a differential oil change, even the brake oil change and flush. All those things need to be taken care of on the manufacturer recommendation. Otherwise, it'll cost you more in the long run. So make sure you keep up with your oil change. As you can see here now, the oil starts coming out to the side. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the plug for the filler, for the fill hole, and I'm gonna put the plug back in. Now you'll notice when I'm replacing this fill plug back in, I cannot get it by hand. I have to use a tool because in this case I have no choice. There's no way for my fingers to get there and to hand thread it on to the hole. I need to use the tool to get it in there because of the location of the access hole itself. Now this is a really tight spot to work in, so you have to have the right length of extension for your tools and be able to work sometimes by feel and not by sight. Here I'm not looking at the hole, but I know where it's at, so I'm able to get the plug back in and screw it in. The camera is positioned at an angle above my head and I know where that hole is, so I'm gonna just get that torque down to the correct spec, which is in this case is 25 foot-pound of torque to get that in. And once I hear that click, I know I'm done. I don't have to give it an extra. So let me get this button up and I'm gonna clean the area up. Hey guys, that's all it takes to do the transfer case oil change. It was really a lot more work to get this car up on the stand and get both of the back wheel jacked up and getting this car level. So the oil is AWD weight oil for this specific vehicle. So you know the oil. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in another video. Peace out and come back again.